So yeah, and if you weren't being fat all the time, then things would probably go better for you.
Oof.
Hey guys, this is Seth from RFBB, back on the channel. It's been a little while since I've been working on weekends. I haven't had a chance to do videos, but thankfully the internet has given me an opportunity to have somebody different on, a little bit different grain than the usual programming. I know we're usually bodybuilding news and all that, but that Jubilee video that's blowing up now that had the fat versus fit going on is blowing up, and I got Rich from the video on today just to talk about some of the things in general on the video that was there and just some general bodybuilding, body health related aspects. So welcome, Rich.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, so I thought it was crazy that since I've reached out to you, it was a couple of days after the video came out.
Right.
Since then, I've seen it pop up on everybody's channel. Everybody's covering it now. I just thought I was interested in your perspective on everything, and me being in healthcare and doing personal training, coaching, that kind of I'm trying to say, that side of it, that side of the coin, have a little bit of a different perspective than some people who only see it from the patient or client side. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna reach out to this guy. Seems like he's pretty level-headed. But since then, it's just blown up. So kind of take me through how they got you on there in the first place,
right,
and what your expectations were and how this has gone since.
Nah, absolutely, man. Yeah, so as far as how I got onto that particular video, I've actually been a part of other Jubilee videos, and my very first one was actually a ranked video where they basically blindfold you and they go off of how you sound in your story to kind of rank how much you weigh. So there were some fit people and there were some people that are a little bit on the plus side, and that was about 2 years ago, and that one went pretty nuts too. So they kind of just had my profile already, and about a week before they shot, they sent me a message hey man, we think you'd be great for this video. If you're available, let's link up for a call. I did that, and pretty much it was a wrap. Yeah, sorry, before I get into the expectations or anything, did you want to ask me questions, or you just kind of?
No, that was my main thing. I'm just because sure. Obviously Greg, he's one of the bigger ones on YouTube,
right,
and he plays a character on his channel. That was normal. Greg, you got to talk to,
right? But
he does the whole parrot. I don't know if you've ever seen his videos. He does parrot voice, and everything's marketing, and
right.
And then Eric, I looked up his profile. I didn't realize that was who he was. I've seen him before. He has 1 million followers.
Right.
And then Myron has his podcast, and some of the other guys have big accounts.
Yeah.
But you're the one random, normal dude. I'm oh shit, he's got 400 followers.
Yeah. It's so funny. Yeah. I didn't realize I was because a lot of those people, unfortunately, other than Myron, I didn't know about. But after the video was released, and we talked afterwards, and I got all their Instagrams. Oh, these guys are influencers. I'm really just a dude with the Instagram that happened to get in that video. So I guess it's just luck, But yeah, it was pretty cool. But
in a way, it's kind of cool, getting a room with all those people who are internet famous, and everybody, right. Especially Eric, he seemed he was a pretty chill dude and everything.
Oh yeah.
Greg can be a little bit of a snake, and Myron's fucking Myron, but yeah. I don't have anything to say about him. If you watch the video, I'll put the link in the description too, so people can go back and watch it if they haven't watched it. But yeah, how was that with Myron? Off camera, was he the same way off camera?
Man, so let me tell you. So first of all, I didn't even know he was a part of the shoot. Nobody did, actually. So he was kind of the card in the sleeve, the ace in the hole or whatever. So I walked in. It was a studio in Los Angeles, and I saw everybody else other than Myron, right? And we're just chilling, conjugating, talking, whatever. And then Myron walks in, and I'm just nah. In my mind, because it's a big studio, I'm oh, he must have rented another space, and they're shooting something over there. And when I saw him talk to the Jubilee producer, I was oh shit, he's in this episode.
Did you know him from before?
No, did not know him before at all. Like I said, I just saw his clips and stuff on YouTube, and I kind of know about his persona. But
I hadn't heard anything about him. I had to look him up. I only found 2 clips, but
right.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, so it was a big shock. So my energy changed. I was oh, because I know what he's about. So okay. I kind of went from, oh, this could be a positive conversation to I'm probably going to get attacked, verbally, So, yeah, so that was my energy. As far as how he was, and it's so funny because you're talking about a character, And that's literally how I felt when we were in the like waiting room. There were snacks and stuff. He was to himself. He was very introverted. He had a female assistant that might have been an assistant, might have been his girlfriend. I don't know. He talked to her for a little bit, but other than that, he had like a hoodie over his head. Really? He was resting on the table, head down, not talking to anybody. I'm not sure if that was like part of like his mental game to like not build any attachment so he can say freely what he wants to say. But he was very like almost shy. He wasn't talking to anybody. Everybody else was like very, buddy. Like I'm introverted myself, but I was still able to have conversations with people, but he was very isolated. But as soon as we got closer to shoot, we got mic'd up and they started sitting us in our positions. It's almost like he came to life as soon as he seen the camera. That's what it felt like. He was just the Myron on camera. And like literally, like I think the video was like an hour and 15 minutes. We were there for 4 hours. We were there for 4 hours, man. So you can just imagine what they cut out. But they had to condense it because like literally he was on one for like three to 4 hours. Yeah, it was
really.
Yeah.
So was most of the stuff they cut like stuff near the end, or was it just like a mix of everything?
I think it was a mix of everything. Like they didn't tell me that I couldn't say anything about like how they shoot stuff, but like a lot of the questions were, rearranged as far as order for the impact that it was. Like that depression question, that was actually like the second question asked, but they saved it till the end. So I think that had the biggest, reaction from everybody. Like that kind of really put everybody in an uproar in that room.
Because I could see like if they were like saving some hard bangers for the end when you're already like riled up and you don't like each other, you might get a better reaction too. But I don't know if they cut out stuff that was like too offensive or whatever at the back end.
Yeah, I think for the most part they pretty much included everything. It's just like some of the people, I guess like after getting their point across, they kind of kept like reiterating the same thing. So I think they just cut out like reiterations and stuff like that. But that's pretty much the bulk of what the video was. That's how it was the whole time. Yeah, so it was pretty rough.
Well, it's funny. And then I saw your post the other day about you were saying you had to really try to like keep your composure and all that, but like watching you on stage, like you seemed like you just brushed it off like no big deal. But reading your post, you're like, I was kind of fucking pissed.
Dude, I was really hot about that. Yeah, because I was pretty much cool. I mean, for the most part, at least cool for myself. Like with the whole like being called fat thing and like being called a piece of shit. I was like, okay, that's cool. But like when he brought up the depression thing and said like, you deserve depression, I internalized that as like you deserve to like suffer from depression. And I know people who've lost people close to them with depression, so I wasn't playing that game. So I had to let him know like that's not something cool to say, and you probably should rephrase and rethink your position. That's what I wanted to get across. So I felt personally like I came out of character a little bit, but everybody was saying they were still pretty impressed with how calm and cool I was, and I was just like,
I mean, it seemed like you just kind of stepped in and were assertive, but it wasn't like out of character or anything. So
yeah. So that was the only time where I felt like had he pushed the envelope further, I might have like reacted a little bit more aggressively. But I'll just leave it at that.
And the worst part about him is like I feel like he did make some good points at times. Like you even agreed with him on certain things. Like I need to take accountability on things and all that. But he just has absolutely no empathy or way to word it to not be a dick.
I'm saying it's like, that's literally his only problem because he's a very intelligent, very calculated, very well spoken person. Like he can get his point across, but like he does it like you say in a way that
chooses not to.
Yeah, just choose literally chooses not to be empathetic or emotional, and just rather would just be cold, and not just cold, but like brutal too. And I don't know, like maybe it's part of his shtick, like I said, his persona or whatever. But there's ways to get your point across with also being a human being, and I feel like that wasn't the case for him.
But it's funny hearing about the backstage thing. So I feel like almost in person, he might be a little more like sensitive than he lets on. So it's like a facade almost on the camera. Yeah.
There's a part in the video where, because, obviously he was on the jacked side as far as like, being the fit people. And
Tevin ripped him.
Yeah, you saw that, right? He's like, dude, like you talk all the shit, but you're the smallest guy here. And if you see his body like language, he's just like... and then he says the word shame under his breath, like under his breath, you're gonna shame me. But it's like you just said shame was the most effective way to get people to change. So just he got a taste of his own medicine there, and I don't know, it was interesting to watch. It was definitely interesting to watch for sure. Yeah,
which is funny because I did like some of the points Tevin made. And I feel like Tevin is a little too soft. Like I didn't. like connect with Tevin on everything he was saying necessarily. But he came out and did that. I was like,
Yeah.
I actually paused. I was eating.
I was like, dude, yeah, I get it, because like that's compared to what we were getting, at least, yeah, compared to what we're getting from Myron, that was like just one nice little clapback, and I felt like that actually was impactful for him because he literally kind of changed a little bit, kind of rooted him off course just a little bit, and then the Jubilee moderator came in and did what they did. So,
which is because it was funny because I mean Tevin, like I felt like he was like almost too soft, like almost like I'm the nice guy to a point where it was almost fake, and that's what I didn't like. But then when he did that, I was like, all right, he's more human now. Like, kind of like the opposite of Myron. Myron was too much of a dick. Like, you don't even seem like a real person. You seem like a caricature. And after Tevin flipped that switch, I'm like, I like this guy a little more now.
It was a nice moment for sure. Yeah.
So, just in terms of like your journey and everything, I know you talked a little bit about how you went from, what was it, 400 something pounds down to like 280, or something like that, and then came back up.
Right.
I mean, if you're not comfortable about it, you don't have to talk about it. But I didn't know if you had like a certain, like, because you've talked about the depression and stuff, but there a certain thing like just growing up, you were always heavier, and your parents just didn't monitor your diet, or was it a depression thing you started eating? Was there, like, what was the trigger for you?
No, good question. I don't mind speaking about it at all. Yeah, I've always been a bigger kid. I'm one of 3 children. I'm the oldest, so like my younger brother and sister, like they're fit, they're skinny, or they're like a healthy weight. But I've always struggled with my weight. As far as where it came from, to be honest, I don't know. I feel like it might just be trauma stuff that I'm unpacking. Not saying that everyone has like a pretty not ideal childhood. Like my childhood was really great compared to others, but I was bullied a lot, and that might have added to it for sure. But yeah, I've always struggled with my weight. As far as my journey, pretty much up until, how old was I? It was 2018. I was 28 at the time. Yeah, I had a real conversation with someone who means a lot to me, and they noticed like my health, and they're like, if you don't change soon, like you're probably not going to be here too much longer. And it hurt hearing that from them because they never had kept it real with me, and but it's true, so I kind of internalized that, and then just started doing really small things. I started off with just working out in my apartment at the time, and was doing push-ups. I was like, how many push-ups can I do straight without getting tired? And just gradually increased. And then I started like working on my diet, started practicing things like intermittent fasting, and I dropped weight quick. I think in my first 8 months, I dropped 100 pounds. And I was like, whoa, like this is cool. I was like, man, my knees feel like knees. They don't feel like, I feel good. So I kept it going.
And that's my thing, like, too, is like a clinician, like for physical therapy, I feel like it's just getting started. Like, because I mean, I don't deal with weight loss people directly usually, but it's usually like people come in like, hey, my knees hurt a lot. I want to get my knees feeling better so I can go to the gym and make that first step. I'm finally ready to do it. And I get people right from the beginning like that. And that I love seeing that because they're making the conscious decision. They're ready to do it. What I can't stand is people who aren't ready to help themselves out yet, because then you just kind of get jaded because you'll put all the effort in and nothing happens. You got to be ready to make that decision yourself.
Exactly.
And it sounds like somebody close to you pointing it out was like that moment, like, hey, I need to do this for myself.
Exactly.
Instead of putting it on somebody else, or putting it off and making excuses. And that's kind of how it snowballs sometimes. Exactly.
Big time. Accountability was huge. I think for the first time in 2018, I was like, yeah, like I brought myself here regardless of what happened, like, because you have a choice. Yeah, I just started making, the best decisions I could. And, I was dropping weight, and I went from 2018 to 2022 with pretty much, being pretty focused. And then, some very rough life events happened. And then also on top of that, hitting a plateau. There was a point where I couldn't lose weight for months. Like I would gain a pound or lose a pound, but I couldn't break that wall. And mind you, at the time, I didn't have a trainer, I didn't have a nutritionist. Like I'm just doing my own thing.
And that's all. I mean, that's better than most people can do.
Right. Honestly. No, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. But I realized the power of having one of those, professionals would have helped me get past that plateau, because mentally it was messing me up. Like I'm getting on the scale and it's reading 1 pound over, or it's 3 pounds over, or I'm like same weight. It sucked, man. It sucked to just be seeing that for months. And I just said fuck it and just went the opposite direction and spiraled in a really bad way. So,
and sometimes, I mean, you're saying, you're stressed and everything. And a lot of times, if your stress is off, you're not sleeping well, all that can just lead to water retention. And, if you're looking at the number on the scale, it could be 8 to 10 pounds of water weight you're holding. You might still be losing body fat, but you might just be holding more water. And then it looks like you're not really progressing too. Exactly. So it's one of those things that's hard to do unless you're really, I mean, like when I'm doing my coaching, I'm not saying you have to hire me or anything, but when I'm doing my coaching, like week by week, we try to look at like pictures, this week versus last week there. And then you keep the chronological order of it so you can go back and check and see. And I think it's one of the biggest things. People get focused on the scale when sometimes your appearance could be a lot better, even if the scale reading's the same, especially once you start lifting weights and you build muscle. Like your weight might go up, but you look better and you're actually leaner, but the muscle weighs more than the fat. So your weight goes up a couple pounds. And that's the tough thing to figure out. Unless you have that guidance, sometimes it kind of mentally fucks and you're like, oh shit, like I need to cut even more. You cut your calories too low, then you don't have any calories to work with. And next thing you know, your body is kind of upregulating to make it so you don't completely crash too. So it's like that yo-yo balance you have to do. And unfortunately, in like our space, you have too many people on the internet trying to sell products and tell you like certain diets are the certain way to do it, certain elimination diets. And it's just too many extremes and people get confused. If you don't have the background in it, like I don't blame people for not knowing what to do, because you see all these different ideas online. And a lot of times they're just trying to sell products, and that's the problem. You don't have that holistic approach. That really is what's going to keep you going. And it's no better in the healthcare field either. I mean, I have patients come in that tell me, their doctor who's also overweight and doesn't practice what they preach themselves will tell them a certain thing. The dietitian will tell them something different. And then another doctor will tell them something different. And they don't know where to start, because none of these doctors and everybody can really agree on everything. And everybody's afraid to step on each other's toes. So you can't really offer any good advice to them without putting yourself in danger of, saying something out of your scope of practice. And I don't think it's kind of tough. It's just a tough situation, because you want to do the best for the people. And sometimes I'll kind of step out and say, hey, this is what I do for bodybuilding. I'll just tell them like, you can try to do this, but at the end of the day, you just got to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, whether it's muscle or fat, period. It's just a calorie deficit. But sometimes the doctors want to push the medicine and dietitians want to push certain foods. And it's like, eat what you enjoy, but not too much of it. That's what it comes down to.
Moderation. That's a real thing.
And then just slowly like making the better health choices too, like food choices. Like if you can start eating a chicken breast, 2 or 3 times a day, still eat, some junk food or whatever, just that protein is going to fill you up, and you're going to eat less because you're eating more of that than you are a whole bag of Swedish fish, like I could truck through a ton of them too. They're not even in the house. That's my thing. Like if there's something like ice cream's not in my house ever, because I will eat the whole thing in a week or less. I ate a whole thing of Girl Scout Thin Mint cookies after the bar in college in one sitting. Had the shits the whole next day. I ate it.
Oh man, been there. I've been there.
Yeah. The dairy was a little much, but and I mean, I've been a little heavier too. I'm like, nothing near like what you guys are. I can't really completely relate with that, but like my cuts, sometimes I'll get over the top on the bulk and get 30, 40 pounds I have to lose. But I've also done it. I have the education. I know how to do it. So I usually get it off in like 3 months.
Nice.
But that's completely different from what you guys are dealing with. And that's kind of like why I wanted you on for perspective as like a normal person who's done it yourself, who's had those traumas, who knows how to step up to the plate and make that decision yourself. And hopefully other people see this and they feel like they can do the same thing too after hearing your story.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think regardless of like, what transpired during the shoot, the video with Jubilee, it did bring up a very important conversation. And I think it did share different perspectives, especially for people on my side of things who are bigger. Because there was a lot of assumptions and misconceptions that were shared amongst that group. And we had to tell them like, hey, it's not just black and white, there's some gray in there too, so it was a really powerful video, and I feel like it will reach the people it needs to. So hope so, fingers crossed.
And it was nice hearing, that I forget what the model guy's name was.
I think it's Zach.
Zach and Tevin were talking about the body positivity people they know are a lot different than what we see, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, that's all that other people are seeing too, like the Lizzo and all that, like the mukbangs, all that, that are promoting unhealthy habits.
Yeah.
and they associate that with the body positivity movement because they're using that hashtag.
Right.
So now you kind of muddy the water. But I think having both sides presented in a video like that and people talking about it openly kind of opens people's eyes to, hey, it's not all Lizzo and all that, or it's not all positivity people. There's this middle ground somewhere, and actually a lot of the positivity stuff isn't all bad, but all you get shown is the stuff that's going to get people pissed off and in their feed. Exactly. So you see a lot more of that than you do the stuff that Tevin was talking about.
Right. Big time.
And before that video, I mean, I can't tell you if I've seen too many of them that were actually like real positivity because I don't get a ton of comments. Yeah, it's always the inflammatory ones that get put in your feed. So
with everything, negativity definitely reaches further. So, the body positivity thing was something I wanted to be delicate about, but also real because I was like when I wasn't aware of I want to say I wasn't aware of accountability. I didn't want to take accountability. I knew where it was, but I didn't want to find it. But I always blamed it on something else. And there was a point to where I was like, oh, like I'm, why should I change how I look? Like everyone should just be accepting. But it's like at the baseline of it all, it's health, right? Like you can be as, big as you want, but you can't ignore your health, right? Like I said in the video, I was very fortunate enough to where, even though it may be hard to believe, diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, all those things I did not have. Literally all I had was physical symptoms, which is like, knee pain, couldn't sleep well, things of that nature, drowsiness, mental clouds, or, lack of clarity. Nothing that, could kill me yet, I'm not saying it's going to continue this way, but like, and
that's what I was going to say is a lot of times it's almost like the blood pressure thing, or it's a silent killer. Like you feel fine. And it's almost like you have to have that, oh shit moment. Yeah. But you want to catch it way before then.
Way before. Yeah. Prevention is everything. So, my whole point was like, if you're genuinely happy with yourself, and I mean genuinely, because there's people that will say that they're happy because they're afraid to change or it's too hard to change. But if you're genuinely happy and you have no problems with how you look, that's amazing. Like, I wish I had that, but like, you also have to consider your health. Like, okay, be honest about where you are health-wise. Like, what are your vitals saying? What is your paperwork saying when you go, get tested and everything? Like, be honest, you can't ignore that stuff because at the end of the day, you got to be healthy if you want to stick around. That's how I see it.
And the craziest thing is that was the like exact middle ground for you guys because with all the fitness stuff, using PEDs,
right?
You don't have any symptoms right away and everything. Same exact thing. Over time, it'll eventually get to you, but you need to be on top of your monitoring your health and all that. And as soon as you start to see anything going the wrong way, you better get off them because you're going to have the same thing as the obesity. You're going to have the heart issues, the high cholesterol, the blood pressure, all the same exact symptoms, but it's just the other end of the spectrum. It's funny. Each extreme has the same exact issues. Yeah. So really the middle ground is just right in the middle. You want to be kind of that healthy range. Yeah. You can push it a little far either way for a little while, but eventually it's going to bite you in the ass.
Exactly. And it was really cool to see that because that was a really good moment for us to actually, share that.
I feel like your guys' side probably, you had no idea about like, because like Greg and Eric can talk openly about it because they've used PEDs extensively. They know. Right. And like Greg's talked about a lot on his channel, like previously about the health implications and why he got off it. But hearing it from them directly and then knowing, oh, you have the same issues we do because of stuff you're doing that's harming your body as we are. Mm-hmm. Which is crazy, like because you look at it visually, you don't expect that.
Visually, you wouldn't expect that, right?
Really the same thing.
It's like the beauty of like conversations like this, right? Because you see things that you wouldn't usually see. It was a really cool moment to share for sure.
So what did you think when I reached out to you? I know you said that you did not expect my message to be nice.
man, to be honest, I wasn't sure what to expect because it was a very and I'll be honest, it was a very vulnerable situation. Like I had talked about my weight and stuff, but it had been a while. Like even if you look at my Instagram, like my last post like with me in it was like a while ago. So like showing you guys a video where I'm like, so many pounds heavier, and not only is that, we're talking about my weight and why it's a problem and I'm being attacked. It was a lot. So I was expecting, and then like when Myron was thrown in the mix, I was like, man, I'm gonna get like all his trolls and his minions. They're gonna come over here on my page and like mess me up. But literally it was just overwhelming positivity and support, which like really was not what I expected at all. So when I saw your message, I I was like, dude, ain't no way. Like, you know, it wasn't what I was expecting. I was kind of bracing myself for like, you know, like, all right, I'm
the whole like
go ahead, hit me, I'm ready. You know, but everybody was really fucking cool, and like that makes it so much more. Like it was worth it, you know, like for sure. But yeah, it wasn't what I was expecting at all. But I love how everyone has reacted to it and like all the positive messages. And like it's so funny because I feel like that video, unfortunately, because probably mostly because of Myron, but also a little bit because of Coach Greg, it really put like bodybuilders and people that are, you know, into fitness. It might have put them in a bad light. But literally, like, my DMs was full of just, like, fitness coaches. Body was like, dude, like, you're fucking incredible. You're inspirational. Keep it up, man. If you need any help, we're here for you. And I was like, this is what we need to see. Like, these are the people that should have been in the video, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But, nah, it was incredible. And I'm still, you know, really shocked about it. And I'm just happy that it turned out the way it did. Because I was expecting a lot worse. Yeah.
It's funny. I mean, I tell you the fitness side of it. Like, you would think everybody's like happy, you look great, blah blah blah. You get more fucking haters and like people just being dicks in your DMs or in your comments than like ever. Like, I have like 600 people on my account. There's been numerous times I've had to go on block sprees because people just be in my DMs, just being nasty for no reason. Wow. And a lot of it's like if you make any mention of like carnivore and how they, you know, because like there was a study that came out and they said vegetables were bad or something, and then the guy who made carnivore, Paul Saladino, came out saying he now eats fruits and veggies because his blood work was off because he went 2 years without ever eating anything plant-based. You pointed that out, and I got all kinds of shit and comments about it. People just being nasty, and it's always like the people with no profile picture, anime pictures and stuff. It's never like real humans that are saying it. It's people that hide behind fake accounts. I'm like, exactly. All right. Exactly. And you know, most of the time it's whatever. I just like don't care. But some mornings I wake up and that's the first thing I read. I'm like, fuck these guys. You know, like it's just it starts you off on the wrong foot. It doesn't ever ruin my day or anything. But sometimes you're just like, really, like this is the first thing I'm dealing with in the morning.
Right. The very first thing. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's definitely a different world out there on social media. And it's funny because then you talk to the same people in real life, and a lot of them like. I go to like music festivals and stuff all the time, and I'll see people that are like Instagram famous and stuff, and they're kind of like Myron. We're like, they're kind of like quiet to themselves and all that, but they'll be the loudest ones with a camera in front of their face. But you get them out in public, they're just like a quiet person that doesn't say anything. It's all a show.
That's what I'm saying. It makes you think like what's really, you know, real out there, but. You know, I get it. It's also a business too, right? Like Myron.
Some people it is.
Yeah, right. Not for everyone.
Like Greg, it's all a business. That's why I was very surprised to hear normal Greg, not squeaky, high pitched. Buy my cookbook, like buy my supplements. Fake Greg, because Greg's old videos were like that, where he sat on the couch and talked to you like one on one. Right. But then he realized he made a lot more money by going the high pitched and more shot content and all that.
Right. Yeah.
So that's where some of that surprise came from me. I thought he was going to be more like Myron.
Yeah.
But he is, I mean, he sticks to his stance on some of the obesity stuff, but he's not an overwhelming dick about it either. He just tries to say his point and leave it at that.
Exactly. Like overall with him, like, even though I may have disagreed with some of the things he said, I still respected everything he said, and like the fact that he was still civil about it, and like was, you know, there was human aspects of it, like when he related to having his, you know, personal story with using PEDs and you know, not being able to bench anymore because he pushed his body to this limit. I like, this dude is human. Like he's trying to relate, he's trying to understand. You know what I mean? And I respect everything he had to say. You know, and especially how he went about saying it. Like to me, he was fine. Like he may have, you know, said some things, like I said, that we don't all agree with, but I think I still respect his opinion, and just more so how he treated everybody on the cast. That's all.
And I think that's the biggest thing too. Like when, you know, when I'm working with, or if I see people overweight in the gym, you know, I've been a little more conscious about it since, you know, working healthcare. You know, I used to just mutter shit under my breath. Like it wouldn't be at the person or anything. It's just me blasting metal music, like fucking pissing and moaning. So I got to wait for a machine or something. But I'm a little better about not like saying it out loud now, because now I realize some people go to the gym, that's their first time there, and they got this, you know, more jacked guy pissing and moaning, like swearing at him and shit. Like, I'm not doing it. I can't even hear anything besides what's in my headphones. But just the perspective from them, like their perspective coming in, that's the first thing they see. Now they're turned off. They're not going to go back to the gym because I was being a dick to myself, but it came out loud to them, and now it's intimidating them, or however they're framing it.
Yeah.
But they're just a first timer; they don't know what to do, and now you've kind of turned them off from it.
Yeah.
So there's little things like that you can be more aware of that you wouldn't think of until you hear it from the other side. Let's put it that way.
Exactly.
And I thought that's where that Jubilee video really did a good job of hearing it from both ends of the spectrum on it.
Right.
Did you ever end up going to like the normal gym and all that, or did you do all home workouts with your transformation?
No, so initially when I started my transformation, I was actually ashamed to go to the gym. I had a membership before, and it wasn't like my first time in the gym ever. Like I started lifting weights in high school when I was playing football, and even before then, like my dad like lifted weights, he bought like all kinds of machines and stuff. So like I knew about the process, but like I just you lose your way. And
you had that advantage too. I would say some of these people, they don't even know what to do, and that's why they're so intimidated to go in there.
Exactly.
So just perspective, anybody watching right now, like think Rich had the experience and he was still scared to go in there.
Yeah.
There's people who haven't never haven't even gone outside for more than a walk, and never ran in their life.
Yeah.
So you gotta think about them too.
Exactly. But yeah, the first couple of years of my journey, like I was literally just lifting in my house. Like I bought dumbbells. This was before the pandemic, so like dumbbells were really cheap. Because after the pandemic, them things shot up like GameStop. Bro. I was like, whoa.
So like when COVID hit, like all of them were sold out. So there was that little lull between COVID when we were allowed to go back to work. I went and bought the selector dumbbells from Bowflex. They went from $200 to $420.
Yeah,
I got them in case the gym got closed, and the gym hasn't been closed since. So they've been sitting in my floor.
Man,
I use them once in a while here and there, but I go to the
No, those things were my lifeline. I had them too, and that's all I did. I bought like a little bench, and I just did home workouts every night for a year and a half, 2 years, and was just watching the weight drop off. And then after I felt comfortable in my body, mostly more comfortable with how I looked, I was like, okay, now it's okay to go to the gym. That's not the case for everyone. It shouldn't be. It was just my case. I was, like I said, personally ashamed and embarrassed of like what might transpire at the gym. So I just decided to be a hermit and just stay in my house and lift. But if you have any inkling of courage, definitely go to the gym, and if you can, go to the gym and learn some stuff. Yeah,
I feel like I feed off the energy in the gym better than at home too. Like at home, some people are wired that way, where they can get a good workout at home and stay true to it. Me, when I'm at home, it's not the same energy. Like I just can't output the same force I can in the gym. But some people love it. Like you just got to find what setting works for you. Some people love the group classes and all that too. I hate anybody being around me in the gym. I like just blasting on my headphones, keeping my head down. And it's funny when people talk to me, they're always like, I thought you were going to be a dick. I'm like, no, it's just a resting bitch face. And I'm bitching at myself. I'm bitching at you. Like, I'm looking over you half the time. I'm thinking about what I'm doing right here.
I feel that. And I agree. Yeah, definitely the energy in the gym is something different. Something about other people getting at it, man, just motivates me, everyone's in there for a reason. And they're all working hard, and that just, you can't help it. It's like infectious. You want to also do some crazy stuff and put in some work.
And even if you are like a hermit or like me, like I don't like to always talk to people in the gym, just having one person come up to you and be like, hey, you're looking good today, that sometimes that makes your day. Like if you're having a shitty day, you drag your ass in there, you're like, I don't fucking want to do it today, and then somebody just gives you that little dap up, you're like, all right, so that made the difference there. Now I can feel like I can get up and do this.
Absolutely. Yeah, those moments are everything for sure.
And you don't get those at home, so sometimes it's better just to get out and do it.
Not at all.
And unfortunately, like with your journey, you were doing it right in the middle of COVID, so you didn't even have a choice at one point.
Yeah.
And you're in California, right?
Yeah, I'm in Cali. Yep.
So you were locked down way longer than everybody else.
Yeah, man, it was rough. I remember when they first opened the gyms back, and like they were doing that thing where like you had to wait outside. Like there was a maximum occupancy, so like we had to wait for people to leave for us to go inside, and it was very surreal. And we were all wearing masks and stuff. Yeah. I was like, yeah, COVID was a rough time, man. It was definitely a rough time.
See, I'm from New York, so like they have the same thing going on there, but I live in South Carolina now.
Okay.
Two completely different stories.
Right. I bet. So
they did close everything down eventually. So we got furloughed from work in March or April. Okay. And gyms were allowed to be open. They only closed for I think 6 weeks for us total, and we didn't have to wear masks, thankfully.
Oh, wow.
But they were only allowed to be open till like 4 o'clock on the weekends and like 10 o'clock on weekdays. So like, I'm used to a 24/7 gym, and our gym ran 24/7 for a while until the governor found out about it and gave him a call. It's like, you can't do 24/7 anymore.
Damn.
But I don't even get that though, because like, you think at midnight, like there's nobody in the gym, like there's 2 people in there. What's the chance to get spread versus making everybody go at the same time? You're more likely to spread it then. Like, I didn't really get the point.
There's a lot of things that happened during the pandemic that didn't make sense, to be honest. But it's like we just don't talk about it. We're past it now. Just keep going.
My favorite thing was going back to home New York, and you couldn't order a beer at the bar unless you bought food. But fries didn't count and chicken wings didn't count. It had to be an entree. So a lot of restaurants were getting around it by just like offering you like pieces of bread and some other stuff to make it an entree. Like, this is so stupid. Like, how is this preventing the spread of anything? Like, you're just playing stupid mental gymnastics over nothing. And then you're sitting at the table with your mask off. But when you go to the bathroom, you got to put it on.
Back on,
when you're by yourself in the bathroom. I'm like, I don't understand half of this, but
those 2 years were a blur, man. I don't even it's like, let's just, man, golly. Lots of going on.
I mean, thankfully I was just visiting for a week, and I was like, I can put up with it for a week, but I'm just like sitting there, like, I didn't know like a lot of the rules. Like, people are like, don't do that. I'm like, what, I'm not allowed to? They're like, no. I'm like, like, even going to get my haircut at my aunt's shop, she does like hairdressing. She's like, you got to wear a mask in here. I'm like, why? It's just me and you. She's like, we have to, otherwise we get fined. I'm like, okay. Like, she was just at my house the day before, but
okay. Wow, it was wild.
So going forward, back on topic now. Though we had a little sidetrack there.
Right.
So I saw your post saying that, you're real motivated and everything now. So what's your plan like going forward, just in case people want to follow along, or even, if somebody else wants to kind of imitate what you're doing, just to give them a little boost too. So they like hearing your plans so they know what to go with also. And I'm just kind of interested to hear anyway.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. That's a really, really good question. To be honest, a lot of why I want to say I failed, but like, I think I brought it up during the, Jubilee video that I'm in therapy, so I'm trying to use more positive words. So a lot of the reasons why there was a setback was because of where my mentality was at. So I think first and foremost I had to tackle that. So I'm working on that right now and understanding, like, kind of like you're talking about, like, the scale only tells you a metric, right? But it doesn't really show everything that's going on. So I gotta understand, like, there's wins outside of me losing pounds, right? Like, if I'm feeling more energy and if I'm feeling more enthusiastic, or if my clothes are fitting better, these are all like non-scale victories, or whatever they call them, non-scale goals. So I'm trying to incorporate that more. So this is my mentality first. But second of all, the biggest thing is like understanding, like, I had this pride thing, like I needed to lose the weight by myself to say, like, I did that shit, like, with me, I had no help. But it's like, people go to school to learn from professionals, right? And there's no shame in that, right? Like, you go to work and like you're trained or you intern, there's going to be people that are more experienced than you that like are going to show you things so you can avoid, X, Y, and Z. So now I'm reaching out. I have a coach that I talk to, and also I, have been in contact with a nutritionist. So I'm working on these things and understanding, like, it's cool to get help, like there's no shame in getting help at all. So that's kind of where I'm starting at. But as far as my exercise regimen right now, is just to consistently move. So every day I'm walking for like 30 minutes. That's it. My main
are you tracking steps too?
Me right now, I just go by time. So I want to walk 30 minutes to an hour, but like I think I average like 4,000 steps in the 30 minutes or something like that. Something like that. But my main form of working out, my most fun form of working out was weightlifting. Like, I love weightlifting, or I did, So my goal is to get back to that. But right now it's like taking it nice and slow, because I don't want to, jump back into something, because I have an ego. I had all my maxes and stuff, and I'm like, oh man, I can still put up 400, and it's like, no, you can't. You're gonna hurt yourself. So I'm like, get consistently moving, get your body used to being, active again, and then incorporate the weight slowly. So right now everything is just by pace and trying to do things more intentionally and thoughtfully right now. So, and then also telling people about it, because on Instagram, when I was on my weight loss journey, I only posted the positive. Only when I lost weight. Anytime it was negative, people would notice I would skip a week or skip a couple weeks. I think the whole thing that the middle ground thing has shown me, like, there's I don't want to be like a highlight reel. I need people to see like the real stuff that goes on, because like that just feeds into the negativity of social media, because everybody thinks everything's just glitz and glamour, but it's like, nah, like people really struggle, and like you got to see it, so people that need help can understand like it's not all just rainbows and fucking Skittles. Like there's actually some hard ass shit to get.
You don't want to be a gambler. Just post all your winnings. Don't show all the losses.
Exactly. Front end, you got to be real. You got to be transparent. So that's my goal, is to actually go through this again and just try and be real about the whole process and be consistent with sharing with people. So,
and that's why I really wanted to talk to you, because I was like, man, this guy really seems to have his head on right and knows like, hey, there are things I need to do. I can't just sugarcoat it all. Yeah. It's got to come from me first, and then the help on the outside is going to give me the rest of the way. Absolutely. And I'm the same way as you. I like doing things all myself too, but there are times like I have a coach too for bodybuilding, because I posted today. I don't know. It might have been on Snapchat. I posted like my bulks get fucking sloppy every year. Like I get focused on the scale going up the other way, because like it'll stagnate and I start putting on fat and I look worse. Then my coach, like I'll get a coach around the time it's time to cut. They're like, all right, we got to cut down. Yeah. Like you got too fat in the off season again. Let's reverse course on this. And that's my thing. I'm the other way around. Like I put on too much weight trying to go up and then have to cut back down. But having that guiding hand looking at you every week saying, hey, dumbass, we're eating too much. Let's dial it back a little bit. Yeah. Or like the reason why I brought up step counts is like so this is more like when you're getting really lean. So like when you're really starting to lose weight, a lot of times what happens is you'll just kind of get like lethargic, like your body doesn't want to move as much because you're losing weight so fast. So by tracking your step count, you know what your daily activity is. So hey, I'm burning the 300 calories for 10,000 steps or whatever it is, roughly. I don't actually keep track of the calories, but there's a couple older bodybuilding coaches that started doing that now. Like Justin Harris, he's a big one on. He tracks that now more and then adds the cardio on top of it. But that way he's like, I know you're still moving, because as you get leaner, you might only do 10,000 steps a day. You can do your cardio, but you're losing all those extra calories because you're adding them to your pot, because you're not losing them just by walking, doing your normal stuff, because you're getting more lethargic and not moving as much throughout the day. And that's not even like exercise, movement. That's just walking around, things like that. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
That's another little thing. Like I just started tracking that more this year, and it's been easier. I haven't had to do as much cardio. So I know as I get leaner, I was probably only doing 4,000 or 5,000 steps a day at some point. So just making myself go on 2 extra walks with the dog. There you go. I'm at 10,000.
There you go.
And he likes going outside anyway. He's eating all the stupid cicadas right now. I don't know if you guys have them up there, but they're all over here.
Nah, I've heard about them. And isn't there something like this batch of cicadas is like the worst or something? Like I don't know.
It's the 17 year, but I think they come out every 7. It's like 7, 10, 14, and like 17 years or something like that. This is like the oldest ones. And I mean, they are everywhere. They were at work. Like I would just pull out and they're just guts all over my tires from the cicadas everywhere. My dog, they said he was killing piles of them at daycare and eating them. Like they're just, and they start molting too. So you see the shells like from them molting and stuff, and they feed on the trees. Like he'll go pee on a tree and like 10 of them will fly off, and they're all like this big. It's gross. I've had him hit me in the chest. I had one hit me in the eye. Thankfully I was wearing sunglasses. It bounced right off. I was like, what the hell, dude? And it's funny, I go to the beach and they're not even around there because there's no like trees with sap and those are palm trees and all that. But like you go 2 hours inland and they're everywhere.
Wow. Damn, nah, man. That's one of the things I'm glad I don't have to deal with, because like them things, they look like, I don't know what damage they do, but like they just the sight of them is like really not cool. I prefer not to.
They kind of look like big bees with like nasty red eyes, but at the same time, they're stupid. Like they don't. Like I've watched them fly into stop signs and stuff. They just fly off and then fall down. Like, and then you can eat them. Like people are like frying them up and eating them. I was
about to bring that up. Yeah, isn't that like a delicacy or something? Like y'all like be frying them, or people be frying them? It is.
I mean, most people are not about it. There's a couple people.
Okay, so it's not like a thing. Okay,
no. Not here, but I guess in like Asia and Africa, like it's a big deal there. Like they'll straight up like use them as like dessert. But what I was reading is they're actually like related to shrimp, like crustacean family. So like if you're allergic to seafood, you can't eat them, but they taste kind of like earthy shrimp based on what they're telling me. So I'm like, yeah, if you took the shell off, you took the eyes off, you took the wings off, and you like cooked it right, I might eat it. I'm not eating the shell. I'm not looking at those eyes.
I don't want to see the before. I just want to see the after.
It doesn't need to squirm in my mouth or anything. My dog's been eating them fine. They must taste good because he's been eating them, but I'm like, I keep yelling at him to stop, and I'm like, dude, stop. He'll carry him in his mouth, and like he'll come in the house and spit one out. I'm like, dude, get that thing right now.
Oh, that's wild. Oh, yeah. Glad we don't gotta deal with those.
No. I'm watching his weight right now because of how many he's ate. He goes to the vet on Tuesday, and I'm wondering what his weight's going to be after eating literally 300 to 400 of them. No exaggeration.
That's wild.
But it's been 3 weeks of this.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Crazy. Wow, man. Well,
it's starting to die down a little bit, thankfully. But yeah.
Okay.
It's a little messy.
Yeah, that's so weird. But okay.
Yeah. So back on topic.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't really have anything else to ask. Is there anything that you wanted to add in, talk about, ask me, or just like tell anybody watching? Any words of advice or anything that you want to let them know about reaching out?
Dang, those are all really some good questions.
This is all off the cuff, by the way. Anybody watching? None of this is planned. I'm just making it up as I go along.
Freestyle, yeah, from beginning to end. Yeah, it's been going really well so far. Yeah,
I'd rather do it that way anyway.
Yeah, really great conversation. I'd probably just say, for people that watch the video and maybe in my position, take it for what it is. And like obviously, the video was shot in a certain way for a certain reason. But like, just try and take like the nuggets of gold that you can from it, which is, if you want to work on yourself, there's a couple things you gotta do. You gotta be accountable. You gotta be mindful. It's okay to, not know what you're doing, and it's okay to, recognize that you're, you may not be making the right decisions, but just, how do I say this? Just be okay with doing the work to get to where you need to get to, whatever that may be. Yeah, as someone who's been overweight their whole life and, lost weight and gained it back, it sucks. I really, kind of fight with myself sometimes, like how did I let myself get here again? But it's like, I can waste time wallowing in it, which I have already. I can mourn what I've lost, or I can fight and, get back in the fight, so that's what I'm choosing to do. And just ignore, any negativity. Fortunately, the whole world is not full of Myrons, so let's be thankful for that. So just try and, look past the negativity and just, just find some really cool, positive people and just know that, you're doing yourself a favor by taking care of yourself. That's pretty much all I would advise anybody to do. Just, check in with yourself. And then mental health is real. That's the real thing. Depression's not fake, as whatever Myron says. Like, it's not. It's a real thing. So just be mindful of those things. But yeah, that's pretty much all I feel like I need to say. Mm-hmm.
I think that sums everything up perfectly.
Yeah.
I got nothing else to say. I think we're good.
Cool.
Thanks for coming on, man.
No, thank you for, man. Honestly, bro, like, thank you, because you were like the first message that I got, and I'm not gonna lie, I was bracing, bro. I was like, damn. I was like, oh shit, here it comes. But like, just seeing like the message, and like it was a long, very supportive, positive message. So just thank you for reaching out, because like kind of like what you said, like it's those things that make the difference. Like if you do that for people on the regular, you'll be surprised at how many lives you can impact. So just thank you for being a dope person, man. Just cool as shit. So.
I appreciate that, man, and thanks for coming on and talking openly about it. I know it's not easy, so
yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you. It's been real. It's been a good one.
All right, guys. So give Rich a follow. That's his Instagram down below. This is mine down here, right there. His is at Rich Nonya, like Nonya Business.
There you go. Yep. Absolutely.
But hopefully I'll be posting more again soon, now that I don't have work all the time. But as for this episode, peace out.
Peace, y'all.